Hello, loved ones. This is Matt Stevens, and I know that you are having a fantastic day. And well, if you're not, then you should be because because you're you, and there's nobody else like you. There really is not. So if something's happened, okay, and you're not having the greatest day ever, it happens to everybody. Just remember that you're you and there's absolutely nobody else like you. But if something's happened, it's kind of, my day's not the best ever. Okay. Whatever it was that happened, just step back, step outside of it, right? Step outside of the whole thing and look at it from 30,000 from a 30,000 foot view. Just step back and look at it for just a quick second and determine, is this anything I had any control over that caused my day to be not great? If it is, well, then maybe you need to do something. If it isn't, and it probably isn't, then you really do just need to let that go. You really do. Kind of like if somebody drove past you while you were sitting on your front porch and I don't know, yelled something really mean to you. Like, some people will get angry about that and maybe even jump in the car and run down there after them or something. Really, you just got to kind of laugh it off and like, man, people are crazy, right? Just let it go. Really, let it go. I don't care how offensive it was. But if there is something that's, not making your day's not the greatest, and it's something you could do have control over, well, the good news is that you have control over it. That's great. That's really good news. And that alone should bring your day up. It's like, well, that sucked, but the good news is I can fix it. So do it. And if it's the other way around and it's out of your control, well, then let it go. Like that ding dong down the street that yelled obscenities at you as he drove past. Anyway, loved ones, hey, if you would, please go ahead and give me a little thumbs up button. I would appreciate that. Hit the like button. And also subscribe. If you haven't pressed the subscribe button yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. I would really appreciate it if you would do so. So there you go. Anyway, so I've been debating on what to do a video on because I'm doing everything I'm doing here is the things I'm not doing in the audio podcast, which is nice. I like that. But anyway, so in metaphysics, metaphysics, woo-woo stuff, whatever, spiritual stuff, we have what we call, we have locality, okay, and non-locality, and then there's such a thing as bilocating. All right. Now, most people have an understanding of what those words mean, but they never really apply it. They never really think how they use those words. I don't mean use them in a sentence. I mean use them in your spiritual walk. So, for example, local is, or locality, whatever. Local is here, now, the avatar, the body, right? It's physical, first person, everything right here in front of me, from my ink pen to you name it, everything. Okay. Non-local is where there is no here. It's outside of space and time. There is no here. There is no place. It is non-local. That doesn't mean it's non-local, meaning it's not local to me. That means it has no locality. Right? Because to say that it's not local to me, that would be where the other one comes in, the bilocating thing. Okay? Bilocating is like astral travel or remote viewing or maybe even an OBE or an NDE, things like that. But bilocation can be tricky because it involves it involves two physical places. Wait, maybe not. Usually it involves two physical places. It can also mean one of the places, if they're meaning two, one of the two is here. This is your location. You are locally here. But when we throw in the second one, that might be your astral body, right? In the astral plane, if you are fortunate enough to figure out how to astral travel. Okay. Or there's also remote viewing, where you are viewing another place, things like that. Those are all two physical places. But there's another form of bilocating. But that's a little misleading, only because the one is still here, right? Your physical body. But the other one will be in the non-local, right? That would be your consciousness, your awareness, your true version, your true self. And that can be outside of time. Well, it does exist outside of space and time, but I'm talking about your conscious awareness in its experience at that moment. You can bilocate into the void, for example. And I explained a experience that I had years ago, and where I was near death. Okay, that doesn't mean I died. I was near death. But whatever. I do believe that I was outside of this. And I was in what I've heard referred to as the black place, the black space. But it's also the void. And it is just black. It is, nothing exists there. But then again, it's like, well, wait a minute. Just because nothing exists there currently doesn't mean there's no possibility, because that's the thing about it. It's pure potential. It has the potential for anything. That place is just crackling with energy, just waiting to be manifested into something. And it's pretty cool. It's not scary at all. It sounds like it would be. It's like, so you were just kind of floating in a void? Yes. But then again, to say that I was floating would imply that I was in a body, but I wasn't. I was just mind, meaning my presence was there, but it wasn't here or there or over. Look over there. No, it was nothing like that. Anyway, so but the bilocation thing can be a little bit tricky, because yes, this physical body is one of the two, but the other, it could be, you could be astral traveling through the astral plane or somewhere, whatever. Or you could be remote viewing somewhere. Okay, that's cool too. But there's also, you could be, I guess, remote viewing outside of space and time. But anyway, mind, let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Nope, didn't. Okay, good. Mind is non-local. Mind. I don't mean the brain. Your mind is non-local. It exists outside of space and time. It exists in that void, I believe. And that's where, but we've been trained to think that our mind and all of our thoughts and all of our feelings and all of our emotions and our imagination and all of that originates in the brain. And that is absolutely not true. All of that, all of those things such as imagination, emotions, thoughts, come from the field of everything, where your true self exists. And I know that the field, when people use words like field, it's sometimes it's a little nobody really wants to say. I don't really know what that means, but it took a long time for me to finally grasp it. But really what it means is, when we say the field, that, the first thing we imagine is maybe like a section of space. And it's like, okay, I'm occupying this, and Joe and Sally are occupying those and those. That's not it. Because the field would be just an expanse. And my mind, my consciousness, is also in the expanse. And so is Joe and Sally, all in the expanse. Now, my vibration may be here, his may be there, whatever. We may interact. But anyway, that's getting off the subject. But imagination is a function of mind, not brain. So what you imagine does become real. And it becomes real either in the void or somewhere in the field. I'm not exactly sure how to word that. I do know. I just don't know exactly how to express that to you. I'm working on it. Bear with me, loved one. I'm a work in progress. So, imagination, like I said, is a function of mind. So, we can imagine anything, right? When we're told to manifest the life that we want, okay, imagine it, okay. But just understand that imagination is not in your brain. Now, you do have a link between your brain and your mind for now while you're occupying this body to have experiences in physicality, in the physical realm. I'm right. So, but that imagination originates outside of that. So, anything you imagine is creative. Anything that is created or creative, well, it is creative, but it's also created. Now, why you don't see that in your physical, that's because it exists out there. It exists in the field. Once you imagine it, you have created it, and it does exist. The trick is convincing your subconscious mind that it's true. And again, we've been brainwashed, trained, conditioned. We've been conditioned with fear, mostly through religion, and also the other forms also. But to not believe in that, right? To not believe that we are creators. Why would that be? Well, to keep you turned off. To keep you, as I've said many, many times before, to keep you a good worker bee, right? So that you produce, consume, and obey. And raise more producers and consumers and obeyers. Obeyers. So, and that's how the system works. But once you become aware of all of that, that's the beautiful thing. Once we have become aware of this, that's when we can break free from it. But we do have to understand that we've got to peel back all that conditioning, all that training, all that brainwashing, all that just crap that's been pounded into us for years. You have to convince your subconscious mind that what you've created in the field is true. It doesn't believe it. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. It probably doesn't believe it because of the training. Now, if you've come to a point where you have been able to convince your subconscious mind of things that you've created in the field are true, then great. That's fantastic. So, like I say, the trick is to convince your subconscious mind of this fact, but it has been trained, brainwashed, and into believing in only physicality. But once the subconscious mind is convinced it works, once the subconscious mind is convinced, then it will work in the field, or with the field, inside the construct to make it manifest. Once your subconscious mind believes that what you have created out there in the field of your mind, once your subconscious mind believes that that's true, believes that that does exist, it will then begin working with the field in the construct to make it so in the world, in this realm. I like the word construct, but it's whatever. Now, if you don't believe me, then please explain to me placebo effect. right? Because there are so many examples of placebo effect. I mean, I'm talking curing cancer with a sugar pill, stage 4 cancer. There's stories of doctors. I don't have my book with me. It's in the other room. I've still been reading in the Holographic Universe by Michael Talbot. Anyway, and in it gives lots of great examples of that. Meaning, like, for example, there was a guy who had stage 4 cancer. His doctor said, well, we're going to try this treatment. We're going to try this medication. And it's supposed to be really effective. Okay. So he gives him the medication, and he takes it. Cancer goes into remission, and it's amazing. Then the guy goes home, and he reads an article online that says, or maybe not online, but whatever. He reads an article that says, this drug has been proven to be ineffective. And then his cancer came back. Why? Because that article said that medicine that cured him was ineffective. So his cancer came back. So he goes back to the doctor. Got to start treatments again. Got to start doing something. So the doctor says, I'm paraphrasing. So the doctor says, I don't know, but I do know that this works. Let me give you this. This does work. I don't care what that article said, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, convinces the guy that it does work. But the doctor knows it doesn't. But he also knows that it never did. But somehow the guy was still cured. Placebo. So what he does is he just kind of gives the guy a sugar pill. Says, yes, this does work. So the guy takes that. He's convinced again. Cancer goes into remission. Once again, off a sugar pill. But ultimately, sadly, unfortunately, the guy did end up reading or seeing something that said that, yeah, that medicine is absolutely ineffective. So his cancer did come back and he did not make it. But the point is, it's all about belief. What you can convince your subconscious mind to believe. It will work with the field to make it true. But you've got to convince your subconscious mind of that. So that is an amazing thing, I think. Right? And I've been wanting to do a guided meditation. It's a void meditation. I love doing it. It's what I do for myself a lot. And because I believe that we need to get into that void, that place where I was when I was not going to make it, supposedly, when I was outside of this, when the paramedics had given up on me, whatever. But then something happened miraculously. I don't know exactly. But anyway, the state that I experienced at that point, that was the void. And that's something that I have strived to get back to. And I have, for the most part. And I have developed a meditation to get me there. And it's nice. And I want to share it with you, dear loved one. So I believe I am going to do that. I don't know if I want to do it in like a live stream or just put it out in a video. That part I'm not sure. But if you would, in the comments, and I'm not simply soliciting comments, but please comment give me comments or however you want to let me know whether or not that would be something you would be interested in. It's a guided meditation that can take as long as you want it to. I typically do about 27 minutes. I have a timer that I use. I typically do about 27 minutes. First part's preparation, about 12 minutes. 15 minutes of actually in the void. And it can be a very beautiful experience. But anyway, loved one, let me know if you would like for me to do that, and I will. I may do it. I know I'm going to do it at some point. I may do it very soon, or I may not. Anyway. So, again, please, if you have not yet, please press the like button. Please share this video with someone that you think would be interested in hearing it. And subscribe. Yes. Help me grow the channel. I would appreciate it. And I do love you. I truly do. And I'll be back directly.